Welcome back. My name is Mel DeWeese, and I believe that the more people that build independently with AI and cryptocurrency, the better our collective future will be. And just a quick clarification what I mean by that. I don't mean using Claude and OpenAI subscriptions. I mean trying to build to the best of your ability as many local AI processes as possible. And this is difficult because I understand that there is some investment involved with local AI. And if you go back through my channel, you'll see my journey from using Claude and Perplexity and OpenAI subscriptions to slowly peeling away layers and layers of subscriptions. All right. And we can subscription ourselves to death. It feels like a death by 1,000 paper cuts, really. And I am excited to share some of the open source projects that are 100% completely free that people are using. I've used some of these myself, some of these I have not used, but I wanted to share them with you. So my Hermes agent and I set up a process this week using N8N, and I will go over that with you. But I also asked him to talk to us about or do a report for us to review about how businesses are canceling subscriptions with open source and using AI. And SaaS pricing is just climbing, and open source tools keep maturing and getting better. They're getting better and better. Local models are getting better and better every day. And here is what businesses are actually replacing and how much they save doing it. So 3-year savings with 200 users is $63,000 with major SaaS providers, and using N8N versus Zapier, obviously it's $0 in cost. So 10 subscription categories businesses are canceling. The most popular cancel. My question to Hermes, or I call him Hermes, but when I say Hermes, nobody seems to know what I'm talking about. So I'm saying Hermes, even though I don't like saying Hermes. My question to Hermes was, hey, we're out here canceling subscriptions. What are other businesses doing? What are the 10 most popular subscriptions to cancel? I would love to know. And what is the open source replacement for each? Okay, so SaaS costs scale with headcount, so open source scales with hardware. The more hardware you have, the more you will be able to use these open source replacements for free. And not that even if you do have minimal hardware, you can use a lot of this for free and get quite a bit done. The SaaS model charges per seat, add 10 employees, add 10 licenses, but open source tools charge nothing per user. Your cost is your server or the service that's providing you the server, which serves 5 or 500 people for the same price. So Google Workspaces for 100 users is about $14,000 a year. Nextcloud for 100 users. So Nextcloud would be the replacement for Google Workspace. And that cost is about $2,000 a year. A Zapier team would cost about $900 a year, and self-hosting is about $60 a year with N8N. And Zoom Business is about $10,000 a year, and Jitsi, Jitsi, is about $600 a year. Very interesting. I've never used Jitsi. It is on my list of services to try. What businesses cancel and what replaces it. Top categories to see: the SaaS tool, the open source replacement, real cost data, and a demo walkthrough. So automation would be Zapier. I've used Zapier before, and I found that things were just constantly breaking. Okay. And I've been using N8N self-hosted on my own hardware, and it's been working fairly seamlessly. I like the visibility of seeing the workflow, the automation workflow, like Zapier. That is the part of Zapier I did really like. It made something that is a little bit that is difficult to imagine in our mind's eye and difficult to imagine when we're looking at code or writing things out in just simple text. Okay. But with a Zapier, what's nice about it is you have a visual representation of each block and each automation, each step in the automation, and makes it a lot easier to understand and work through. And that is one of the features that I really like about N8N. And I also love that I don't have to give a credit card or have any subscriptions or anything like that. So the cost difference, a 5-step workflow running 200 times per month costs 1,000 tasks on Zapier, which is about $40 a month, or 200 executions on N8N, which is $0 per month self-hosted. So this works best for teams with at least one person comfortable with Docker. If you have 0 technical staff, Zapier's managed cloud is still the right call. All right. Or you have an Hermes that sets it up for you, because that's what I did. I went over to my Hermes. I said, hey, let's look at this N8N and set up this workflow on N8N. And he did it, and he gave me the link, and he said, it's all set up. And it didn't take him very long at all. And we built a presentation pipeline and the nightly podcast pipeline, rebuilt it on N8N. And what this does is it helps with consistency for the agent and gives you a visual representation of each portion of the automation, each step in the automation, so that when something breaks, you can see what the bottleneck might be and troubleshoot a lot better, make adjustments in a more clear and concise way with your agent. So if you don't like the research, you can point directly to this process or this other process here related to research and pinpoint more specifically on what you want to change in that multi-step workflow. Okay, so very helpful. So the real cost savings comes when you're running this for free on your own hardware. And Nextcloud 3-year. So this is a article that was written about Nextcloud. And this is from massivegrid.com. And it says, so when evaluating cloud storage and collaboration platforms, most organizations start with the sticker price of $14 per user per month for Google Workspace Business Standard, or $22 per month per user for Microsoft 365 Business Premium. These numbers look manageable in isolation, but total cost of ownership is not the sticker price. The sticker price is multiplied by every user, compounded over years, layered with storage overages, compliance add-ons, admin overhead, and the price increase that both Google and Microsoft have imposed with a metronomic regularity every 12 to 18 months. Over the past 2 years, Google raised the workspace pricing by 20%. Microsoft increased Microsoft 365 commercial plans roughly 15 to 25% across multiple tiers. These are not one-time adjustments. They reflect a structural pattern. Once an organization is locked into a platform's ecosystem, its authentication, its file formats, its collaboration workflows, the switching costs become so high that vendors can raise prices with minimal churn. Your analysis needs to account for this. This article represents a detailed 3-year total cost of ownership comparison between 3 platforms: Google Workspace Business Standard, Microsoft 360 Business Platform, and Nextcloud enterprise hosted on mass grid single tenant infrastructure. We model 3 organization sizes, 50, 200 to 500 users, and include every cost category that matters: licensing, storage, administration, compliance, and the hidden costs that most TCO analysis conveniently omit. So defining the comparison scenarios, a fair comparison requires consistent assumption, and here are ours. Organization profile, small organization of 50 users, a growing company with moderate collaboration needs, approximately 250 gigabyte total storage in 1 year, growing 30% annually. A mid-sized organization with 200 users, an established business with departmental collaboration, shared drives, and compliance requirements, approximately 1 terabyte total storage in 1 year, growing 30% annually. A large organization of 500 users, an enterprise with heavy file sharing, regulatory obligations, and multi-department workflows, approximately 2.5 terabyte total storage in 1 year, growing 30% annually. 30% annual storage growth rate is based on industry data from Stata and IDC research on enterprise data growth trends. It accounts for increasing file sizes, higher resolution media, larger data sets, and the natural accumulation of organizational data over time. Platform pricing current as of February 2026. So this first column is cost component, a per user license. So Google Workspace Business Standard is about $14 per user per month. Microsoft is $22 per user per month. And Nextcloud Enterprise on Massive Grid is $3.60 per user per month. Included cloud storage, yes. And obviously with Nextcloud, customer scales with infrastructure. So it depends on the hardware. And Microsoft gives you 1 terabyte per user. Google Workspace Business Standard gives 2 terabyte pooled per user. Office Suite for Google is Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Microsoft Suite is Microsoft's Office Desktop and Web. They're 365. And Nextcloud gives Collabora Online or only Office. The email comes with it. Video conferencing, Nextcloud has Nextcloud Talk. Microsoft has Teams. Google has Google Meet, Admin Console, Google Admin, Microsoft's Admin Center, and then obviously Nextcloud has an Admin Center as well. Nextcloud Enterprise subscription pricing is based off the standard tier at approximately $43.20 per user per year. Volume discounts apply for larger deployments. Storage growth projections, massive grid infrastructure. So compliance audit for organizations in regulatory industries like healthcare, finance, legal, and government, proving compliance with data residency and data handling requirements is significantly more expensive on multi-tenant SaaS programs. You need a third-party audit, data processing agreements, and often premium compliance tiers from the SaaS vendor. Google's assured controls and Microsoft's compliance manager are not included in these standard tiers. They are an extra cost. More importantly, auditors require extensive documentation about how a third-party SaaS vendor handles your data, which creates ongoing legal and compliance labor costs. With Nextcloud and Massive Grid single-tenant infrastructure, the compliance story is radically simpler. You know exactly where your data is, and your dictated server on a specific data center in your chosen jurisdiction. No multi-tenant commingling. No ambiguity about data residency. No shared infrastructure with other organizations. This simplifies compliance audits from a multi-week investigation into a straightforward infrastructure review. The bottom line, the numbers are unambiguous. For organizations with 50 or more users, self-hosting Nextcloud on Massive Grid's high availability infrastructure delivers significant cost savings compared to Google Workspace and Microsoft 365, saving that compound amount every year as SaaS vendors continue their pattern of annual price increases. But this analysis deliberately focus on costs because cost is quantifiable. The qualitative advantage, complete data sovereignty. Elimination of vendor lock-in, customization freedom, regulatory simplification are arguably even more valuable for organizations that take their data strategy seriously. The question is not whether self-hosted Nextcloud is cheaper, It demonstrably is. The question is whether your organization is ready to take control of its collaboration infrastructure and stop paying an escalating tax to SaaS vendors for the privilege of storing your own data on their servers. Ready to run numbers, blah. So there's a little bit of a plug for this company, but I think that it shows what can be done, even not just for people that are working as solopreneurs, but also for larger businesses. There is a way to scale open source. All right. There are ways to scale open source, and it's becoming more and more common. So then we go over to Google Workspace versus Nextcloud. We talked about that. N8N versus Zapier. So this was an analysis done by Cypher Projects. N8N versus Zapier pricing in a comparison in 2026, exact cost, plans, and features. N8N starts at $20 a month or free if you're self-hosted. Zapier starts at $20 a month. See exact 2026 pricing, integrations, self-hosting, AI features, and migration guide. So N8N and Zapier are both workflow automation platforms, but they're built for fundamentally different users and budgets. Zapier's strength is its breadth, 7,000 integrations, zero setup, usable in minutes. N8N's strength is its depth. It's open source, it's fully customizable, and AI native workflow capabilities. This guide covers the full 2026 picture, exact pricing plans, current integration count, self-hosting differences, AI capabilities, a real migration guide, and answers to every common question about choosing between the two. So the free plan with N8N is unlimited for self-hosting, and Zapier, it's 100 tasks per month and 5 zaps. Not very much. Starting paid pricing at the starter cloud level with N8N, you can go the cloud model. It's $20 a month. And same with Zapier, their professional level starts at $20 a month. Pricing model per workflow and its execution with N8N, and Zapier, it's per task. All right. And the real cost comparison at scale scenario with 10,000 workflow runs per month each with 8 steps. That's 80,000 total tasks. N8N self-hosted is about $10 to $15 per month. Which is server costs only, 10,000 runs equal 10,000 executions. Price doesn't change with steps. And then N8N Pro Cloud, $50 a month. Zapier Teams is $250 to $400 a month for 80,000 tasks, well above any base plan. Add-on task bundles are required. All right. So security and compliance, Zapier is SOC2 type 2 certified. All data flows through Zapier US hosted servers. No self-hosting option. GDPR compliance available with data processing agreement. Not suitable for HIPAA, classified data, or strict data residency requirements. N8N is self-hosted. All data stays in your own infrastructure. VPC on premises or private cloud. Full control over encryption, access, audit logs, and data retention. Integrates with Vault, AWS Secrets Manager, and your own secrets store. N8N Cloud SOC2 Type 2 EU and US hosting options available, suitable for HIPAA, GDPR, ISO 27001, and government compliance with self-hosting. All right. Then the verdict is, if your situation is a non-technical team, you need it to work today, Zapier may be your solution. If you need to connect to niche SaaS apps with no API docs, Zapier is probably still your best bet. But if you're running high volume automations at about 5,000 runs per month, N8N is dramatically cheaper. If you need data to stay in your own infrastructure, N8N is self-hosted, and that would be the way to go there. Building AI agent workflows. It is native LangChain in N8N, so that would be the way to go there. If you're building AI agentic workflows, N8N is a good solution there. Need custom JavaScript or Python in workflows, N8N is the best solution. according to this analysis from Cypher Projects. And regulated industries, healthcare, finance, and government. N8N is self-hosted, and it ticks a lot of boxes there. Want to avoid vendor lock-ins? N8N is the way to go because it's open source and can be put on your own hardware, and budget is zero. Okay, N8N is the way to go there because Zapier will only give you like 5 workflows or 5 zaps for free, where N8N you'll get a lot more, especially if you're self-hosted at $0. All right, so very interesting. Then we've got Jitsi Meets versus Zoom. Okay, and this is for markaicode.com. Jitsi meets Zoom, self-hosted video conference solution and setup. It looks like this site breaks it all down for replacing Zoom. And what are self-hosted video conferencing solutions? Self-hosted video conferencing platforms run your own servers rather than a third-party cloud service. You maintain complete control over your data privacy and security, customization options, cost structure, and compliance requirements. Key benefits of self-hosted video solutions. Self-hosted video conference eliminates dependency on external providers. Are we noticing a theme here? And reduce long-term operational costs. Organizations that with strict data governance requirements often mandate self-hosted solutions to maintain regulatory compliance. All right. Or if you just want independence, you don't want these subscriptions, you don't want Microsoft or Google or any of these big companies spying on you or having the ability. Okay. I know people are like, oh, nobody cares about what I'm doing that much. Nobody, if they see it, who cares? That perspective as well. Okay. So it's completely up to you. Everybody has their own needs for privacy and their own risk management, their own comfortability with all this. I just like the ability to do things on my own and have sovereignty and independence. So these are the things that are very important to me. And as I find these, I want to share them with you. So Jitsi Meet versus Zoom feature comparison. So license cost is free with Jitsi, Apache 2.0, and with Zoom, it's $240 per month per server. Participant limit. I know this is a big deal for some people. It's 500 plus participants, hardware dependent. So it all depends on your hardware that you have, if you can host that many people. And Zoom, they give you up to 1,000. End-to-end encryption, yes, with both Zoom and Jitsi. Screen sharing, yes, with both Jitsi and Zoom. Recording storage on the local server with Jitsi and local server with Zoom. Mobile apps, yes, for Jitsi and Zoom. API integration, REST API with Jitsi and REST/webhook APIs with Zoom. Customization, full source code access with Jitsi. So full customization is available, and with Zoom, limited configuration. They're not going to be customizing Zoom very much. Jitsi meets advantages, open source flexibility, zero licensing costs, and privacy first design. And there's an installation guide in here and configuration and so on. All right. So, and this one is how to build a custom LLM with Ollama. This user on medium.com, Kara Nikki Hill Reddy, is the name of the author. How I built my own custom LLM with Ollama and saved 50,000 plus in cloud AI costs. So everywhere you look, companies are rushing to integrate large language models, LLMs, into their workflows. The default choice? Subscribe to APIs like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. These APIs are powerful, but they're also very expensive. What starts as a $20 per month experiment quickly balloons into 5 to 6 figure annual bills when scaled across teams and multiple employees. Instead of signing another vendor contract, I decided to build and run my own custom LLM stack using Ollama and open source models like Llama 3 and Minstrel. This is the story of how I did it. The problem with pay per token APIs, at first API feels magical, simple integration, fast results, minimal setup, but the cracks show up fast. Costs can skyrocket. 30 million tokens per month equal $5,000 to $10,000 per month. Data privacy issues, sensitive prompts and outputs leave your environment with these LLMs. Limited control. You can't deeply customize models for your own domain and use case. So for industries like banking, finance, and healthcare, where I work, those three issues are deal breakers. Why I chose Ollama is a lightweight runtime that makes it easy to run LLMs locally or on private servers. It's developer friendly and supports many open source models out of the box, like Meta, Llama 3, Mistral, Pi 3, and Gemma. With Ollama, I could run models entirely on my own infrastructure, avoid vendor lock-in per token or billing pricing adjustments, you can do custom prompts, custom parameters, and even fine-tune small models. Keep all of your data private. Okay, my setup, she's got a NVIDIA RTX 4090, very similar to one of my computers, and occasional cloud GPU rentals, A100 instances at about $200 per month when needed. Right, installing Ollama, pulling base models, creating custom models with parameters, build and run it, and so on. All right, so there are solutions out there. Just wanted to share some of my findings this week with you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and got some value out of this. If you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, write a comment, and we will see you next time. All right, bye-bye. And if you are interested in building with independence and sovereignty in mind within your own business or within your own AI systems, I do belong to a community where we talk about these topics every single day, and I would love to see you over there. I'll put a link down below for you. I'm also going to link the articles that I reviewed today. I will also provide links to the articles that I reviewed today so that you have them with the step-by-step instructions on how to implement these tools. And with that, we'll see you next time. Thank you.